So,
Juliet,
yes.
Juliet, we have to do a Hollywood do-over, right? I started recording again, and now we're just going to focus on this language translation. So introduce yourself and then talk about what it is that you just talked about. Recording is in progress.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Juliet Miabo, based in South Africa. I currently work and have worked with a team of translators who have done work with southafrica.co.za, which is an organization that promotes South Africa on a digital plane. So I've set up the translation system. I work with people who are from media, who specialize in different languages. So there's an opportunity to translate the work that you're doing, Prophet Cox or anyone else. We currently have a team that does 15 languages, 11 of the South African languages in that 15. We also have Kwe and Kwe. We have someone who does Hindi. We've also included someone else who does, obviously Afrikaans has always been there, but we've made sure that the languages are as diverse as possible. So we're focusing on 15 languages. But other than that, yeah, it's we actually worked on this before Google Translate did. It was just interesting that Google Translate came up with it thereafter, but our translations are more accurate and they're also culturally correct, because you know, with the language is not as simple as saying my name is Juliet. It's deeper, because if you say it in Zulu, it's the prefix counts, you know, there's a lot, and also there are certain words you don't say in certain languages that would be common. I might say it in English, but in an African language that might be classified as rude or not correct. So we take those into account. That's why we work with translators who work, who are most of them producers or presenters at the different radio stations, all the top radio stations in South Africa. Yeah.
I know we have a hand up, but I might as well raise this now. So you're familiar with, each of you, you're familiar with the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent?
Make them available. And talk about, again, Prophet, we started recording afresh. Introduce yourself, your name, the organizations that you represent, and treat it like it's brand new. So please go right ahead.
Okay, so I am Prophet Anyan Willcox, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a registered nurse, master's in education. Have worked in mental health, psychiatric nursing, as well as mental health for over 30 years. I'm now an affiliate of the Association of Black Psychologists, which is where a lot of my passion lies in terms of doing healing work around trauma, specifically trauma related to, like, we call it the MyAFA. You know about the Jewish Holocaust, but when we think of Holocaust, we typically think of the Jewish Holocaust, where there were 6 million people, Jewish people, who were killed, but we don't think about over 20 million Africans who were lost. So we do this healing around historic trauma as well as present day trauma and crisis. And because I'm a part of the national team now and also a part of the training team, I would like to be able to, and I've already talked to our committees about being able to do some training in South Africa and other parts of Africa, really to train trainers, because you know your culture. These are culturally based healing circles. Now, they are also Black only and Black owned. What does that mean? It's not a racism kind of a thing. It's just simply we need to heal and we need to come together and heal. We also sometimes do, at least my organization, myself, and here in Wichita, we also do ally circles. But we just know that coming together and doing healing is important. So they've been very beneficial for COVID, for the trial related to George Floyd, and other different issues that have come up around terrorism, because we have experienced, as you well know, terrorism in the United States with 100 years of lynching, you know, bombing and burning of Black cities and stuff in the United States. So we have that, but we know that that exists across the globe. So we want to be able to train trainers in their own languages, their own culture, like we're doing right now with Haiti. Haiti has reached out, and funders have actually come forth to provide some funding. Now, typically these circles, they're free to anybody coming, so there's not really a cost for them. And but anyway, but because of the fact that we need something culturally based, they have been able to attract some funders. So that's that piece of it. But the other piece that I just mentioned, August the 2nd, well, do I want to go way back? Go back to 2015, the United Nations did a decade for people of African descent globally, and said that the Ma'afa is the Black Holocaust. It is the Holocaust of people, millions of Black Africans coming out of Africa, and what happened with chains and, a whole bunch of, stuff that happened across the globe, and colonization. But that was a 10-year period that there was supposed to be recognition of the crime. It was considered a crime against humanity, what happened to African people across the globe, and it was supposed to, the globe was supposed to start doing repair. So that 10-year cycle that, and Prince Andrew can help me with this, but it was a decade from 2015 to 2024, which is almost over. So through some advocacy at the United Nations, we were able to get August 2nd, a resolution that established a permanent forum on people of African descent, which means, yes, it was a crime against humanity. Yes, we deserve reparations across the globe, not just one country or one continent. But because that time is about to run out, that we have a permanent forum where we can speak with one voice, 1.6 billion people of African descent on the planet at the United Nations. So they put the resolution in place, but the launch for the permanent forum is not until this year, 2022. And they're now putting together the individuals who will speak at the United Nations. But outside from those, that small group of 10 or 20, I can't remember how many at the United Nations, there are those organizations out here who have formed groups in their cities, countries, or whatever, around being able to get our word to the people who speak directly at United Nations need to hear from us across the globe. So I sit on a international working group for the permanent forum, and I'm part of the education and outreach. So I'm outreaching now across the globe. And so I'm saying all that to say, one of the things that the group has been asking for are people to do who can do translation. So all over the globe, anywhere we find ourselves as people of African descent, that we know that this exists and we can start bringing our issues to the table with one voice. We don't have to do it in different segments. We one voice, get it together. But anyway, so you're invited to come to the call. I'll put a link out there, but we also need translations, and we need to have representation from across the globe. The committee that I sit on and co-chair or chair at this point, really we have someone from UK and maybe from Italy, I think, but we don't have people from all over the world. So we really need people to come and show up so that you can have a voice too at United Nations.
Okay. Awesome.
And translations as well, yeah. So I'll send you the link, and it's the fourth Tuesday of every month. Now, if you want the education committee, then that's the second Tuesday. So it's only 2 Tuesdays a month, but it hasn't launched yet. So to be able to be at the table, be a part of an international, there are people from Europe, there are people, it should be people from all over the world. We really, really, just like we're meeting here, we need to be able to be a part of that permanent forum so we can start being a part of saying, yes, it was a crime. What happened, the things that I'm hearing in Africa, the things that have happened here in America, that they will on camera would kill somebody and feel okay about it, that we have to put a stop to it, but we do that collectively.
Well, in that regard, Gabriella, I see your hand raised, but I'm going to share my screen briefly just a moment.
Okay, it's fine, sir.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen now, and in the chat, I put the link in for the EFU Foundation. They're based here in California, in excuse me, in the Oakland area. Excuse me, but I'm on their international advisory board, so I do want to let you know that they do have a specific partner request form. That information is also in the chat. But if you go to edfufoundation.org, you'll find that they're also discussing right now this particular period of time that we're in, which is the 2022 CSW, and that I believe is the Council for Women for the United Nations. There are events from March 13th through the 25th. So on the website, if you're interested, You can register there, but you'll also find that they are focusing on multiple areas that are relevant to all the people on the call here. And I do want to encourage you to go to their Facebook page as well and join so that we can begin to create numbers in our collaborative. Just yesterday, might have been the day before yesterday, there was a panel on food sovereignty between power and politics. You can find that on YouTube and also on the website. But also, we're also focusing on the Agenda 2030. However, for this particular team of people, I want to let you know, if you don't know, that the majority of the content of the Sustainable Development Goals was created when the African Union set out their Agenda 2063. They created what's called the Common African Position on the Post-Millennium Development Goals. That was enacted in, I think, January of 2015. It was September when the Sustainable Development Goals were launched. So much of the content that we're dealing with Sustainable Development Goals has an African-centric background, and it's important that we educate that we're all in this together. But on the website right now, they are addressing what Prophet Cox just talked about, the Permanent Forum for People of African Descent. And the EFU Foundation was a part of the force that made that a reality. Now, this new event for the United Nations is still being planned. And the CEO, Sheldon Williams, is one of the leaders.
Okay. Well,
Proud of the efforts and everyone who has helped so far, but the work has only just begun. So if you or your organization would like to join the working group,
yes.
then
Now's
please
the time.
contact edfofoundation@gmail.com. So I did want to also, as I said, scroll down to show that we're providing ways that you can help make a difference. That includes a hygiene fundraiser. This is specifically for the area here in California, but if we do so, we can expand this to be global so that we can begin to put those supply chains in place that we were talking about earlier today. Again,
Okay.
all this is on the EFU Foundation website, so you can actually go there. For our youth, however, Juliet, there
Yes.
is a chapter called Afronauts. This is
Awesome.
for providing a spotlight on the marginalized in the arts, and they podcast on YouTube on subjects that range from art and comics to politics and current issues. So as many of your youth that want to be can take advantage of this platform as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Finally,
That's great.
and opportunities with EDFU, again, on the website, you can see that we are, in fact, working with people around the world. But here you'll find, as I said, the partner request form. Underneath that, you'll find their bylaws. But in the partner request form, when you go to that link, it will take you right here. You're able to then define exactly what it is that you're trying to work with and accomplish. However, we need at least a 45-day lead time. And you can actually contact me, Andrew Williams Jr. at gmail.com, in the event you want to work together to prepare information or submissions.
Okay.
So this is what it is I bring to the table as far as our collective through this, what we call the Adhoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors. It is, in fact, Lloyd Helferty, that's our representative for Canada. But in addition to BRICS, there's also something called the Commonwealth of Nations. Just as this year or last year now, the African Continental Free Trade Area went into effect on January 1st. Brexit went into effect, which means that the United Kingdom pulled out of the European Union. However, they in turn reestablished a lot of their contacts through the Commonwealth of Nations that include South Africa, that include Kenya, that include, I believe, Uganda. So it's our intent to identify how these overlapping relationships exist on a geopolitical scale that are reflected in our local group. So we become the ones that create the narrative for the future. So with that, I'll end and I'll turn it over to Gabriella. You had your hand raised. Thank you.
Really quicker, Andrew.
you.
Though, I mean, I just want to thank, because you have so much information and I've known you just a hot minute, but this is the first time I've heard you share so much of it. So somewhere it's just, I guess, bringing you to task on the fact we got to keep some space where you constantly giving information because you have history and information. Also for the permanent forum, I'll send out a link because go to EFU website to become a member, but you can come on the fourth Tuesday meeting just with my link. Okay,
Then please
so
share the link in the chat, but also think about
Okay.
taking time to do a presentation about that, whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, because until we record it, we can't do anything with it. If we don't record it, we can't do anything with it. That's the whole
you're
point
talking to me?
of providing this.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, Gabriella is crying.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, Gabriella, ball's in your court.
And thank you so much, Prophet. It's well. It is well. We are following up to get everything right. Now, back to our Prince Andrew. Now, what about like Jaffa? We did our presentation, I think, in January. I'm not sure whether it was recorded, but thank you so much for the sharing. You've shared a lot of information, and I think I'll be sending also an email to edfoundation@gmail.com. But now my question is how, I'm not sure whether the presentation that I did, I think a month or so back, whether it was recorded or I'm to do another presentation on IGU Summit. Then number two.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and then number two, back to Prophet Cox. Thank you so much for your work and what you're doing. You mentioned about the special kids, children with special kids, and you highlighted your son was born with special kids. Yeah, I, for one, Jaffa, we are here in Uganda. We also partner with organizations that support children with special needs. But I've realized as we are doing our advocacy and reaching out there to let the society or the community to know that these kids with special needs, they can also be somebody in the future and they need the same attention as a normal child. So you'll find they're being discriminated. The teachers to teach these kids with special needs, remember they have added work. They're not like teaching a normal child. So you'll find out that we also have a problem with teachers who are to teach these kids. And remember their syllabus here in Uganda is not the same as the syllabus that the normal child goes through the school. Yeah. So I was also interested when you were sharing about the special kids and the special children. It could be also better for us and a welcoming idea if we can also think about children with special needs, because I've seen on our platforms on the network, I've just been seeing support of the children, not specifically specifying these children with special needs, and the special needs to put in the kids with disability as well. Yeah, so the organization, it's called Kireka Children with Disability and with Special Needs, where we support, actually we do our monthly contribution, we support them, scholastic materials and even food. We support that, and counseling, because some of them, they are traumatized, some of them, the parents have abandoned them. And then also you find out also the mothers, most of the mothers to those children, they are chased out of their marriages, because once you give birth to a kid with special needs, you are termed as someone who has a curse, you carry a curse. So here they even chase you out of the community. They will not understand. So you, as our Prophet Cox, you had a scenario in your house where you had a child with a disability. We will need such a person like you to speak out to these mothers, to these young mothers, to these middle-aged mothers, to these adult mothers that have given birth to such kids, and they're being tortured mentally. They are cursed, they carry a cast, they can't mingle in the community. They just need, I think, psychosocial support. They just need counseling. They need comfort that it is well. Even if it is a child with disability, he can be somebody. Because I've been following your discussion. You're like, your son can do anything and everything. He can suit in any environment, be it a high-class environment, a lower-class environment. He can do anything. So it begins from that younger age where these kids or these children with special needs can be talked to, can be spoken to, can be told, yeah, you can be somebody. So back to you, our host, Prince. And
well, let me say this, sister, just let me say this about that really quick, that the, yeah, that's just really quick, it's because it touches my heart. So he is adopted because someone came to me and they said that he would not live to see his first birthday and nobody really wanted him as a baby. So I became the foster mother, and then his mother one day was very sick, and I went to see her and asked her if she knew who I was, and she said, "You're his mom." She called his name. I won't give it right now, but she said, "You're his mom." And I said, "No, you're his mom." And she said, "No, you're his mom." And then she died not long after that. So he is my son. So I did adopt, and several people advised me not to. So I'm just telling this story real quick because it wasn't a smooth path. If post-traumatic stress syndrome happens from war, it happens with children with special needs. I don't care where you are in the world. But however, I'm telling you a different story. His story, they said he wouldn't live his first birthday because he not only had special needs, he had a chronic terminal kind of situation, and there was really a major deal. And so they wrote him off. They wrote him off, and they told me as a foster parent to be prepared. They wanted me to be psychologically prepared for the fact that he wouldn't live very long, but he's now 35. So but he went through a lot because they didn't want him in school. He just went through a lot. And when he got in school, he got beat up. So all those things you're talking about, I guess that's what I emphasize as my sister Juliet and I talk, is that think global. In terms of solutions, think global. In terms of problems, think global. Because they did not want him in school. They fought to keep him out. When he got there, he was beat up and nobody protected him and all kinds of stuff. So we had a lot of struggles, but he's 35 now. So he's made it through that. And he's a good worker. He has some deficiencies in terms of some areas, but if you want somebody to get up and work and not give you a hard time and whatever you say go do, he's going to go do it. And he loves working with kids and that kind of stuff. He does do that. Now, his situation is one, how we struggled with him in the education. They wanted him to learn how to cook for 4 years in high school, but I pushed for computer classes and other things because I found out that he could learn. They have taken a little longer to catch on, but he got it, and he now does. If something happens here with technologically, I go to him. So finding out the potential. But let me tell you another story. My church that I go to, the pastor's is a nephew or cousin, I think, was born with full-blown autism. My son does not have full-blown. He has some pieces of it, but he's very high functioning. This young man doesn't really talk. He has full-blown autism, yet with support, he went all the way from K through 12, went to college, a regular college, got a degree, works at Hallmark. If you heard of Hallmark cards, he works at Hallmark. How did he do that support? So that's what my son, we didn't have that. I fought and fought and fought. I've had people who came to help me advocate because we have what we call individualized education plan, which is an IEP. But if you don't request it for your son, for the child, and don't have testing, then they don't give it to you here either. They just let people drift around and say it's a problem child. And then and then here we have what they call pipeline to prison. We have for-profit prisons. So they now can predict which of our children, especially Black kids, will wind up in prison when they look at them in kindergarten. So there's a system. All this is systematic stuff. And so the for-profit prisons must have people under functioning, otherwise their prisons go out of business. So it's a system. But this young man, with the help of the fact his cousin was a pastor, his other cousin was the principal of the school, so she demanded that the teachers keep her cousin in the classroom, a regular classroom, and they help him. Otherwise, they couldn't teach at their school. They had privilege. He's a Black, my pastor's Black, the teacher, the principal is Black, so they helped him from K through 12, and he went to college, full-blown autism. So yes, you're right. There's a lot of need around disabilities, especially able. They call it, special needs or whatever. The needs are different for people, but they do have some resources to help. But a lot of it has to do with just what you're talking about. I just wanted to tell you our story because it was not an easy journey for the 35 years, and so that's what that is. But he's a good worker.
Well, in that regard, again, I want to invite you to invite him, because the only way we can grow our family is that he becomes familiar with who we are. And so I would urge you to make him available or make us available to him. I do want to also share, again, my screen briefly. There is, in fact, Juliet and Prophet, a global platform for dealing with issues just like this. It's not rocket science. It's not something that's just grew up out of the clear blue sky. We do have these problems and we do have solutions for them. I just encourage and ask all of us to take the time to share with each other what these solutions might be. In this particular case, there's something called Envision 2030. Along with the Sustainable Development Goals, what you have is you have multiple areas that are focused on these issues. Envision 2030 is specifically dealing with imagining the world in 2030 fully inclusive for people with disabilities.
Awesome.
So again, I'll put the link into the chat. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have to educate ourselves about what's available and then make this information available to our networks. But you'll see that if you go to this website, I think the link is in your chat. What they have is they have each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. But when you click on these links, they have specific guidelines to focus on providing resources to people with disabilities. That's not just physical, it can also be mental, but it could also be emotional. But the idea is that we have these tools at our fingertips, but through technology now, the idea is to not just share the information, but we have to become producers of content and not just consumers, and put to work human right number 29, responsibility, and become the ones who create the solutions to our problems and not just talk about the problems themselves. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Wow.
Prince Andrew, here's really quick, because my screen, something happened to my camera, so I can't turn it on, but he's right here. He's gonna say hi. Next time I'll have to try to figure out how to get an external camera or use my phone so you all can see him, but say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, welcome to the family.
And so Juliet is in South Africa. Gabriella is in Uganda.
Yes.
And
Susan is in Kenya. Sister Susan is in Kenya.
and
Yeah.
Her Highness,
And
Princess,
Royal Highness, she's in South Africa
she's in South
as
Africa.
well.
And
Yes.
Andrew is in Hollywood, I think. Aren't you, Prince Andrew?
Hollywood.
Yeah, yes, I am. But even though you can't see it through the screen, I myself have been disabled for most of my life. And so I present to the world this image, but behind the scenes, I can't stand for more than 2 minutes at a time. I can't walk. I have chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, so I can't breathe well, but I'm able to impact the world through the communication skills. So I would tell your son that he can do anything I can do and do it better for a longer time.
Okay, so give
Amen.
him your name. Tell him your name.
My name is Ernest Cox.
How old are you?
Ernest.
Hi, Ernest. Hi, Ernest.
I'm 34 years old.
He's not 34, he's 35. He just don't want to get old.
Modest.
That's
He
one thing
says
you
that
can't run away from.
Yeah, and so they
The
invited
princess
us
wants
to
to say
Africa.
something before she goes.
Yes, the
Protocol.
princess.
Yeah.
Princess. Siphi, go ahead.
Yes, Ernest, just know that we highly appreciate you. Just know that we love you. Just know that we are all living with a disability, just with the different degrees. All right.
Yeah.
And so you are just as capable, as able-bodied as all of us, as you have heard the inspiring words from our Prince Andrew. So I think my whole life, I've also been mentoring even people that are living with disability. Juliet will know I was the content producer of the television show, the host who is Masingita, Remember Masingita, the lady of
Yes,
South Africa?
Masingita. Yes, very much
I
so.
managed. Yes, I managed Masingita on Soweto TV. I was the producer of the TV that we did.
Oh, awesome.
So we did the magazine. She did everything that we all could do. So it doesn't really faze me. We all have certain strengths, and even Honest is going to find that strength that is beyond even ourselves, able-bodied. But really, I'm inspired, and we love you. And when your mom comes, you definitely are going to be coming as well, because we want to work on the cultural exchange for the youth programs.
Yeah, and if I may say, Masingita that the princess is speaking about is one of the most successful young people that we have in the country. She's quite inspirational. I've worked with her in various programs, whether when I was one of the judges for Miss South Africa, she was involved. She was involved in many things, and she's quite an inspiration. So, you know, just to model what is being done for Masingita, you really have to come, Ernest, to South Africa and get the same type of mentorship from Princess Siphi.
Amen. Amen. So
Thank you.
just know that you are loved and revered, and you are a woman of valor.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Family, I'm gonna have to leave.
Got a big grant. Yeah, I got to go back to work too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
All right, Princess, I will see you here when you come back, in 2 weeks' time.
I'll connect you with WhatsApp with her.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
We have.
Thank you so.
Juliet,
Yes, Andrew did answer my question
Which question?
Oh,
about the
Maleka?
ADF Foundation. Yes, yes.
No,
Julie.
please speak up. I didn't hear you, Mina.
Yeah, my question that I raised in the beginning before talking about the people with the disability to Prince Andrew about ADFfoundation@gmail.com. Yeah, like Jaffa, we already did our presentation, I think a month ago in January. I'm not sure whether it was recorded because I've had in your communication that the presentation has to be recorded for it to be, I think, in the ADF something foundation, something like that. Can you clarify that to me, our able Prince Andrew?
Well, yes, it depends on which day it was. If your presentation was done on Thursday, then all of those were recorded and live streamed to Facebook. If it was done on a Monday, it was not streamed, but it was recorded. So do you remember which day of the week it was done?
Yeah, it was in IGU Summit on a Thursday.
Then yes, it was streamed, but I would need to know the date. And you can go to AHIABGA Network on Facebook and scroll back and you can find the exact presentation there. But for our purposes moving forward, I would ask that you get together with me and Joseph Akinola, and we will use StreamYard to record the presentations going forward, because that allows us to put your name and your organization at the bottom and give other information as well. So I do want us to record using the StreamYard platform. It's at no cost to you, but we do have to have planning so that we can schedule the time and make it available.
Okay, all right. I will get in touch with you, Prince.
Very well. Well, the floor is
thank you,
open. Oh, you're very welcome. Well, the floor is open before we close. Any more closing thoughts or comments? Now's that time.
Just that I love it. Thank you for the after party. This has been marvelous. I'm supposed to be working, but this has been so beneficial. And he's just got a big grin on his face. So we just look into heaven for that opportunity to come and to, be there. I think even if we work out something where it's, summer, that it could possibly be a month or so. So I want to be able to, when we come, to be able to accomplish some things. And like I said, we can get some things done. Blessings, blessings, blessings. My heart is full. Thank you so much.
Also, for you, Prophet, and the EFU Foundation, put together your request and shape it in such a way that it becomes part of your activities for the 400 Commission, so that we can then, through EFU Foundation, find ways to support your project that will benefit not just you individually or you too, but the organizations that you represent as well.
Yeah, well, I can't do it through the 400 because, you know, well, let's just say I can't do it through the 400 because the mandate is for the US, so I can't do international affairs. But something, I know God has a way, and so something will open up. But yeah, that's not possible through the 400 at this point. Let me say that at this point.
I wasn't suggesting that you do it through the 400. I'm saying that EFU could support your activities that would benefit the 400, because dealing here in the United States, your issues are global. And in terms of the Permanent Forum for People of African Descent, we could connect that down as well, Prophet. So I'm just saying that it's better to have it than not needed and not have it.
That's true. That's true. And then maybe even from ABCI's standpoint, because they've given me the release to do the cell bone and some other things, you know. So yeah. Okay. Well, I'll follow and so thank you.
Make sense. But start from yourself individually. The sal bono is something you do as a counselor. So you need to make sure each of us make sure we take care of home first. That means each of us as a business opportunity needs to package that so that we can benefit from the doors that we're opening up for other people, for ourselves, because we have to be the samples of the example. Our kids won't follow what we talk about. They have to follow what we do.
Well, there's the sal bono training, but I've got another something that will be, because I have my own organization is Safe Healthy Spaces. And so it deals with not only the Black only spaces, but also ally spaces. We've done, you know, for other groups who support people of African descent. So, all right, thank you so much. That gives me some ideas. I know
my last thought before I turn it over, right? There's a doctor named Lisa Kane. She's been part of our original group. I'm part of a group here in Los Angeles called the Encounter Think Tank. That was set up by the Architectural and Environmental Design Department for Trade Technical College. That involved community leaders to be able to give the students hands-on experience and vice versa. But what Lisa Kane said was that so many of us who are providing services to everyone else around the world, we suffer and we cause trauma to ourselves because we leave ourselves out. And I say that to you specifically, Prophet, because we've been on this call for 3 hours and 40 minutes, and only now do we hear about what you yourself have that we can support. So I'm just asking all of us to take a moment and reflect, and let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
True, I agree. And I'm guilty of that.
So each of us has to be the example of the sample.
All right. Yes, sir, Prince.
Thank you. And yeah, no, that's so true.
I just have a closing remark. Prince Andrew, I really appreciate God for your testimony. You are really encouraging. I for one, Malika, I didn't know that you are that way, but you've really impacted the world. You've encouraged us this evening on behalf of the ladies that are still on call right now. We are really encouraged. And as we go out there to the communities, I for one, here in Uganda, and I believe seeing you in the picture, I will deliver better than how I'll be delivering when I come to the community of the disabled or people with disability. Thank you so much for sharing such a passionate testimony. Even though you are unable to breathe well, but you can be on call for 3 hours, for 4 hours, listening to our noises and contributing. It's really encouraging. I'm really encouraged. God is faithful. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for loving humanity, despite of all the difficulties that you're going through. I think that's why the Lord God is also giving you more days, more years, to make sure that you're bringing the best out of Malika, out of the ladies, out of Juliet, out of Prophet, you know? Thank you so much.
And in terms of what we have to offer, I'm hoping that at some point, you know, I don't know what you're open to, Prince Andrew, but you know, there's some things that helps with respiratory. So We just have to see if you're open to. I know a lot of times people are set if they've had long-term things, but I'm here to tell you, my son didn't get to 35 without some natural therapies.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm open. I have to be honest with you that a lot of my conditions are a result of my own efforts throughout my years to self-medicate and deal with these causes of problems that I'm living with as an African American or Black person in the United States. A lot of the benefits or disadvantages have caused just because of my environment. But yes, it is in time for me to focus on just what I'm telling you, to practice what I preach. So I look forward to finding ways that I can improve my condition so I can be here longer and do more for everyone.
Well, I have some immediate stuff I get sometimes in my prayer meditation. I get some answers to things, and I got something a month or so ago on respiratory issues. So we can talk, and like I said, but sometimes but anyway, go ahead, Juliet. Because we could go another hour, but we won't because I'm behind.
I know you all. That's why I'm interjecting. It's an African American thing. But let me just say, Prophet, please make contact with Malika. She needs to talk to you about the areas of.
The areas of what you went out. Juliet? Hello?
Well, then Malika can say what she's interested in. Malika, are you still here? Oh, no, we lost her. So at any rate, I'll connect us all together. So when
I am here.
Yeah, most of us are already connected to the WhatsApp group, but I'll specifically connect you together, Prophet, with Malika.
Well, Prince Andrew, I hope you can do one of these because WhatsApp group is a little taxing for me sometimes. This, where we're on Zoom and having a regular conversation, is a lot easier. So I hope you have some regular, I don't know if you have other meetings like this where we can just talk. So, but anyway, okay, Gabriella.
Well, before you go further, let me say that again, this very strange thing, right? There's only one cost to make available this Zoom platform for the entire month. But unless you use it, you're wasting all that time. So I'll be happy to accommodate you. We just have to set the time and schedule.
Okay. And I want, I want to get the information out about the essential oils. Because like I said, my son, they wanted to cut him open so many times just to see what they could see. And so we had to fight some battles, but he's come this far through some natural therapies. We don't, we do our best. We can't always make it without some pharmaceuticals, but we minimize them by, in his situation, I used to go to the doctor and he would say, why are you even here?
But before you go there was someone else trying to speak. Or so there was someone else trying to speak.
I got lost. Okay, go ahead.
I think Juliet is back online.
Okay.
I think Juliet is back online, yeah.
Yes, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. No, I was just suggesting that the Prophet and Malika speak, please. Malika knows what it's about. We spoke about it yesterday, and I know that you're a busy, Prophet, but can you please make the time? She needs to talk to you about something specific.
Can we talk now? Can we talk now? Because once I get off, I'm behind on my class that I do on Saturday.
I just feel some of the things are personal. And remember, you are in the healing space.
Okay, yeah. So because until Saturday afternoon, when today was my day to do nothing but work, but I've been on. Well,
no, she should call you as soon as we stop talking here, and that will not happen.
If she has a serious need, I won't be able to do it justice. Is what I'm saying. So it's can you, Gabrielle? Yeah, because let me just say this to everybody. I have a person that dropped out and quit. So I have to pick up their task and I have to be ready for Saturday's presentation, which I'm way far from not being there.
No,
and
it's
so
just something small.
Juliet invited me to just listen while I work, but you see, that didn't work out.
Yeah, so. And I said, join in, listen. And she's still the last person on the call.
I told you it didn't work. I have to focus and work. I got 5 chapters to read and outline and do PowerPoints for. And so I want to do her justice because when I do healing work, I take it seriously. I need to focus and also be mentally and emotionally ready to do it. So Gabriella, let's try to set a time. It would have to be Saturday. unless there's something we can cover real quick now, but it doesn't sound like it. Because I have to, when I show up on Saturday, I don't want to say, I don't know what to say. I have to be ready.
Okay.
Yes, Saturday it will be better. It will be better, my prophet. Saturday.
Okay. So let's connect on WhatsApp and then, but yeah, so that I can really do that. I like to sit because when I work, you know, I'm trained as a psychiatric nurse. I'm trained as a holistic practitioner and healer, but I rely on the Holy Spirit. All my training, I lay aside and hear what God says. And so I have to be in a space to do that. And I haven't had lunch. I had breakfast early this morning, so I want to do that. So we'll let us exit with you contact me on WhatsApp and be prayerful and know that God knows that Juliet told me to get on and just listen and it didn't work. So we will, all is well.
Yeah, I'll also speak to you. I have two ladies that I need to we need to talk about, and this is about what you're saying, Prince Andrew, because there's work that that the prophet needs to help us with. I work with women who are being failed by some of the associates that I've linked them up to, and they need healing work. But it also comes back to how do we find money to pay for the service and the resource that she offers. You know,
our strongest asset is that we have all had successes. We have to document our successes. We can attract all the money we need. We just need to show people that we can do what we say. All of us have done that. So we have to just be the ones to get ready now to receive all the abundance that's there for us.
Amen. Amen. Because
And
it's the work that we're already doing, you see.
Yes.
And you have a lot, Juliet. I think, again, having to package, and even like with mine, I just packaged my bio. I had never been able to put all my training in it. So now I have that done. But to put it together so that we can present it as a package of doing something based on some of what Andrew said. And then Andrew, Prince Andrew, I used to call you Prince Andrew all the time, but I never heard him. But now everybody's doing it. So I want to go back to it. So that because you have a lot of knowledge. And so, you know, you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of history. We need to glean that because what you know will help to support and back up what we're trying to do. You know, some of us are so used to working, but you have the knowledge that will go into a project and proposal to back up what we're talking about. So we need to bring all of that information together.
Yeah, no, true. Well, let's work on what's this? We need to. My daughter uses the word disabuse. We need to stop. We need to disabuse ourselves because all the work that one has done since the age of 9 or for the past 20 years has been so the work is being done. It's a matter of showcasing it, as you say, Prince Andrew, packaging it. It's being done, and then getting the help, because the people who suffer, it's not our children in the future. I mean, they suffer even now because we tap on their resources in order to help the whole community, you know. But it's our calling, but we need to work on what Prince Andrew is saying, you know, and be smart about it.
Joseph Akinola has agreed to help package ourselves. So I'll create a group so that we can each package ourselves and profit. Your example of your bio would be helpful. We need examples of what we have right now, then find what the best is, and then use that as a model going forward. And for myself as well, I've been working since I was 6 years old. That's 50. That's over 58 years. So you can't get that on one page, but it doesn't matter how long it is, because the idea is that once you get it, you can always extract what you need for a particular project. But each of us has to take the deep dive and do the whole thing, because for our future and for our families, we need to show them that every minute of their lives is important. And so we have to be the ones to show that our lives are important as well.
And I want to be able to do the training for everybody. We need to be in a circle where we all are getting some type of reinforcement for radical self-care. And so, Gabriella, we would talk one-on-one, but I don't know. I don't know what your issue is, but I want you to think about being able to be a part of a not a WhatsApp, but a Zoom healing circle. I would just like to be able to start doing some healing circles for all of us, and then start getting people trained so that we can. So anyway, so we're saying the same thing. I do have to get off and go get some lunch. But
Sorry, I just said what's wrong. I was talking to the dog. My dog is shaking here. I didn't mean you, Prophet. Sorry.
All right, set the
no.
time for the healing circle, Prophet, and we'll make ourselves available. Or give us different times when you'll be available, and we'll set it up as soon as you're available.
Yeah,
Amen.
so we'll go through it together because it will be the one that's done, of course, here in this country. However, we're going to work on a model so that we can translate it to every single one. So we've said that already. Thank you so much. I'm going to mute, and that means I'm not talking, right? But why don't you mute me, Prince
That's going to
Andrew?
be
And
a
I can't unmute.
miracle. That is going to be.
Yeah, Prince Andrew, you mute me so I can't unmute.
He can't do that.
I'm gonna wrap it up because we're gonna keep talking.
You are not going to. You can't do the dirty job, Prince Andrew. No. Are you still there? No. Thank you so much, Prince Andrew. Thank you. I'm going to continue. We'll continue our discussion.
Yes.
But I take what you're saying, and I'm also learning. I also need to get hold of Joseph. I know he was attending something today, but I'll speak to him. Thank you again. Yeah. Gabriela, are you saying something? Again.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. What I've just got this evening is an encouragement testimony from Prince Andrew. He can laugh, listen to our noises, contribute, but behind the smiling face, there is a big hurdle. You've really encouraged me, our elder. I'm encouraged this evening. Thank you so much.
Well, yes, Joseph Akinola has been working on a project overnight, so he might be not available right now, but just inbox him on WhatsApp, and when he wakes up or gets available, he'll follow up.
Okay, is that your project or my project that I briefed him on?
Neither. It's another project I put in his lap.
Then I'm gonna get in trouble. It's fine. I'll speak to him. Then I'm on. Okay, but I'm sure he'll do it. He'll be able to catch WhatsApp.
up. Just text when he's available. He'll reply.
Yeah, no, I do. Thank you so much. And we must just schedule our discussion again. All right. Thank you so much. We submitted a project for a healing circle for South Africa for the Gogos, and that's the one that's going to also hopefully be done with for other countries. So I think
once you package it, you can not only submit it to ourselves and the EFU Foundation, but once it's packaged, it can be introduced around the world. There's no limitation of how much resources you can get, but until you start, nothing can happen.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I have. Who's speaking? Is that the Prophet again?
Yeah, I got unmuted again. So what I was going to say in prayer, Prince Andrew, is that so there'll be 4 because I've already told the AV side that I'll be doing Sawubona, but in my prayer the other day, I was given a list that I need to create one of my own and use that as a model because I cannot charge for theirs. So I have a name. I've already talked to Juliet about it. And so I'll be developing that, and that will be a model. Yeah, but I will also offer the ones that I'm already trained in, just to stay politically correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you said that, because until and unless you're able to identify your own resources, your own value, it's impossible for you to leverage that as much as you could otherwise. And so I do encourage you to do that ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I shall.
Amen to that. Okay. No, definitely.
All right, and queens and loved ones, I'm going to wrap it up for today.
Okay. Thank you, Prince Andrew. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. What a gift. What a gift.
Separate recording just to the people that are that were in this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Love to everyone.
Okay. Good night.
Love and blessings.
Love and blessings, grace and peace and mercy to everyone, and prosperity.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Malaika. We'll talk just now. Bye.
Okay.